Julia, hindi pa nasusubukan. Doc Bello, beer yoga, bakit sad face?
I think it doesn't make sense. I mean, one of the reasons you do yoga is to stretch, and then I think the breathing is good for your stomach. Parang to put beer, then you'll get a beer belly. It's parang counterproductive. I mean, and it's a fake relaxation. You want to learn to relax just by meditating while you're doing yoga.
Okay,
Diba?
next. Glass skin facial.
Oh, of course, girl.
Yes, of course, of course.
Ayan. Yeah. Bubble pa kay Julia. Julia, what's the best part about the glass skin facial?
Well, the best part about it is still being confident going out even without makeup, and your skin looking luminous, glowing, and very youthful. And being a K like you, youthful, glowing, and luminous, you are very, yes, you.
Me? Me?
That's yours.
And as a K-drama fan, they all have glass skin, so I like that it's achievable now, especially in the Bello clinic.
Okay, next up, pore vacuum.
I tried.
Okay.
Where is it? How come I keep disappearing? Where?
Yeah, let's ask Doc Bello about it. Why the sad face, Doc?
Because it can be so traumatic on the face. I've tried it just to see what it's like. It has so much pressure when you suction, then you break blood vessels, especially around the nose. So, and I think in a way it might stimulate the oil glands to produce more oil.
Okay.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Okay, last but not the least that you have to react upon, intermittent fasting.
Ooh, yay! Okay, put it to the right place.
Okay, so ang karaniwan nakikita natin is 8 hours. They follow the 16-8 protocol. What about you guys? Do you follow 16-8 or do you go a bit past it?
Me, I follow the 16-8, but if I can go longer, I will go longer. Doctora.
Doctora?
Yeah, I do 17, I think. 17-7. Tama ba yun? 17-7? Yeah, 24. Because I don't eat breakfast, so I eat my last meal is 7, and then my next meal is 7 p.m. and my next meal is 12 noon usually. But if I can't take it na 11:30.
Ako, Doc Bello, I'll ask your advice regarding intermittent fasting. Kasi ang plano ko gagawin is I'll have my last meal mamaya ng 8 p.m. Tapos kakain na ako ng mga November 4. Okay ba yun?
Wow! Nasaan na tayo nun sa 7
Payat pa ako nun. Will I lose weight?
Of course, for IF is the best because fasting pala. Maganda, I'm serious. Fasting is so good for your body because it stresses your body just right to wake up your anti-aging epigenomes. So, it stresses so you repair your body while you're... And what I found out, everyone, Manulifers, you try it. I've never felt so energetic as when I do an IF. Yung totoong IF, because for so long pala, I was making mali. I was drinking vegetable juice. Kala ko, that's still no calorie, but it had because it had half an apple, which is about 40 calories, but that destroyed the whole fast. So it should really be coffee with no sugar or water lang. Then you'll feel like, like when you're running, I hear you get a second wind. When you're IFing, you feel so strong. Parang the less I eat, actually, the more energetic I feel.
Well, hindi kaya kung gawin ko yon, Doc Vicky, yung mamaya ako kumain, tapos November, imbes na strong, agaw buhay na ako nun. Hindi kaya?
Yeah, November, tagal. Kita na tayo sa All Saints Day, November 1. So,
thank you very much, Julia and Dr. Vicky, for a fun and informative bit. But we will see Dr. Vicky later on pa sa ating Health Talk segment. So we'll take a quick break with Doc Vicky and we'll talk to Julia. We'll see you in a bit, Doc Vicky. So Julia, how are you taking care of yourself and your whole well-being during quarantine?
You know what? I really just tried my best to find ways to keep myself sane, finding activities that could be the perfect outlet for whatever anxiousness, anxiety, or worries that I had.
Tanong ko sa'yo dahil I follow you on social media, you are a friend, at nakikita ko yung progression na, wow, may abs na si Julia. Iba, kondisyon na kondisyon. So what do you do? What's your workout? Are you a yoga person? Are you a HIIT person? What do you follow?
Okay, so I'm the biggest Pilates fan.
Okay. All four talaga.
Yes, I like Pilates because I think it hits the muscles that we don't think we should be hitting, and then it's sort of like a meditation for me. Like it's a quiet time. It's the time to breathe and get your stretches in. But I realized that it's not. You can't just be fit and not be strong. So when I realized that I wanted to feel more strong and just more strength, that's when I kind of mixed it up with like weightlifting and a lot of circuit and a lot of cardio. Although I'm not the biggest fan of cardio, we have to for stamina.
Kailangan naman talaga. I'm not a fan of running. Pero just last time, tumakbo ko ng QC pagudpod. Kaya naman, pero okay. Okay. But kaya naman. It was a challenge, pero kinakaya naman. That's how it went. But let me ask you, we were talking about IF earlier. Do you mix any other diet with IF? Like, for example, have a friend who does IF and keto. Ikaw ba, do you eat anything as long as it falls inside the window?
You know what? When I was a few years back, I thought the best diet is just eating less than what you should be intaking. But I think the older you get, the most sustainable and easy to maintain diet is just the balanced diet. So I also realized when I diet so much, so strictly, it affects so much my attitude and my patience and everything. So what I've been doing now that's been working for me is just balanced diet, just more workout because I like to eat. So bumabawi na lang ako sa workout and just being active. Right now I can eat whatever I want, pero syempre yung tama lang, don't overeat.
And siguro aside from working out and eating healthy now, one thing that has been resonating with so many people throughout this whole webinar is how we take care of our mental health. Hindi ba? Now, one thing, I guess, unfortunately, it's part and parcel of what we do in the industry is the negativity on social media. So how do you handle all that?
Well, it's something that I grew up with. I lived with criticism my entire life. I wouldn't say that now I'm immune to it. I don't think it's something you'll ever be immune to, but I think now I've become wiser in how to handle it. So like what I always say, it's so important for you to compartmentalize things that matter to you and the things that don't. So, when it's the criticism from people I don't know and who don't know me and don't play a significant role in my life, it's easier to shrug off and not worry about. The criticism that only matters to me is, of course, the people that are really within my circle and my family and, the people who can be honest with me and constructive criticism. Hindi yung criticism na...
Just to bring it down.
Yes, exactly. So, compartmentalizing.
At sabi ko nga na ngayon you're a fitness advocate, so anong gusto mong sabihin sa lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon who just want to take that first step? Or minsan kasi that's the most difficult part, is taking that first step into your fitness journey. What do you want to tell them?
Well, I'm also not perfect. So, for example, now I was in lock-in for 1 month and I was filming every day, the whole day, so it didn't give me much time to really work out. So tonight actually is going to be my first time to work out after a month, and day one is usually what I dread the most because you don't feel as strong and your motivation is not the same. But you know what? The first step is the most important because, after you take the first step, tuloy-tuloy na yan. It's domino effect and it's the beginning of everything. So take that first step and you'll be surprised. It's going to change everything for you. Don't be afraid.
Thank you very much, Julia. Alam ko maraming nabitin sa game natin kanina. Yung audience daw ay sobrang nabitin din. Kaya naman we'll have more good vibes para sa lahat. Maybe call on Dr. Vicky again to please join us. Hi, Dr. Vicky. Welcome back. So we'll have another game. Now, this game is called Never Have I Ever. Ito ba, Doc, nalaro niyo ta? I'm sure si Julia has seen it in different vlogs na rin. Ikaw ba, Doc? Nalaro mo na ba to? Never Have I Ever.
Never have I ever. Okay.
Yes. So
But I'm double negative so doon ako nako-confuse. So if I've never done it,
yes,
what's the X?
you've never done it. If you have, I'm going to mention a few instances. If you've done it, please raise the check. If you haven't, then you raise the X or the cross.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the first one. Never have I ever binged an entire Netflix series in one day.
Oh,
Si Julia did already? Okay, so Julia, first things first, what series?
Emily in Paris.
Okay, talagang sinagad mo isang upuan.
Oh, yes.
Ikaw, Doc Vicky, ikaw ba? You don't have the time ba? Or...
Yeah, I feel guilty because Scarlett sleeps with us, so no time to do... No, I did Emily in Paris in 3 days. But not because the question's overnight, diba?
So it was a minute.
So when you have babies, Jules, you can't do it anymore.
Yes.
Okay, next up. Never have I ever gone vegan.
Oh, I tried.
Ay, mali.
Okay, so how was it for you, Julia?
Oh, I lasted only 2 to 3 weeks, I think. Meat is very important to me. And because I did like a blood test wherein you find out what foods are good for you.
Yeah.
I'm tolerant to all types of meat, so I wanted to keep that in my diet.
Okay, next up is never have I ever not eaten. Ito medyo extreme to, and a lot of people are guilty for this. Never have I ever not eaten for one whole day to lose weight.
Yeah. Not good though, not good.
Now, this was siguro the time na when people were still misinformed na that's the only way how to lose weight. Di ba, Doc Belo?
Yes, that's actually, you slow down your metabolism when you do that. So it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
It's really, IF is really the way to go.
Ito, pinaka-controversial to para sa akin. Ito, never have I ever gone more than 2 days without showering.
No.
Di kaya.
Di kaya.
Okay. Well,
You?
Me, I shower 5 times a day or 3 whenever I perspire showering.
Right, diba, Doc Belo, they're saying that sometimes it a bit maybe too much kasi you lose certain oils and everything's skin.
Well, the advice is don't shower more than 2 times a day, right? And then don't take very hot showers, which I love to do. Kailangan warm lang, di ba? Because it will dry up your skin. But I don't listen to my own advice. But I'm telling you that's what you should do. But me, love the feeling of hot, di ba? So
okay. Eto, maganda to. Maganda rin naman to. Never have I ever stalked an ex in social media.
Aamin ba tayo, Jules?
Read Doc Belo's answer.
I'll have to say this na lang. Kasi
Bad girl.
Okay, so ito, so si Julia sabi niya, never. Pero ito, Doc Belo, my question for you dahil apparently your reaction is you have, di ba? Before. What if lang you accidentally liked his picture?
oh my God, that's the worst.
Oh my God, talaga. No, I remember.
The picture like mo was from a year back. Talagang ang
But
baba.
I wanted to see who is dating na, ganyan. But if I did, I would scream, I guess. But I think what I did is I used to use my friend's phone. But ang mistake talaga.
Wais talaga. Well,
Di ba?
yes,
Kamali nga.
Ako ito, pero wala nang gulo.
mahirap na. Okay, okay. We have some questions in a bit, but for everyone, it is not too late to hit the Q&A box and ask your questions for our speakers. Right now, we're getting a lot of questions mula sa audience natin. I'm also excited to hear our guests answer all these. But before that, make sure to stay tuned until the end of the webinar because Manulife Philippines is giving away telemedicine vouchers from Netgate Philippines to 10 lucky winners. Now, these vouchers can be used to consult with doctors in the safety of your own home. So please watch out for that. Now, before we proceed with the Q&A or our health talk, we'd like to first acknowledge the presence of our friends from the media. We have our friends from Preview, People Asia, Click the City, When in Manila, Female Network, ABS-CBN, Manila Times, Where is Ed Uy, Boy Racket, Manila Society, and of course, Lifestyle Portal. And now we're ready to bring back all our guests on screen for our Q&A segment. Hi guys, welcome back to Miss Rose, Dr. Ed, Dr. Vicky, and Julia. And yeah, we have Dr. Ed with us. Okay. Is Dr. Vicky and Ma'am Rose with us?
Yeah, I'm not there. No.
Well, she'll be there. Okay, Dr. Vicky, we'll start with you. So what are the common illnesses that we need to watch out for as we continue to work from home? People hear about vitamin D deficiency, obesity, anxiety. So what can we do to prevent all that?
Well, vitamin D, definitely because you don't get enough sun. So you should really go out and at least 10 minutes a day between the hours of before 9 a.m. because the sun is really bad there. Anxiety, I'm such a believer in meditation. So I was so sad when I saw Rose's thing that said only 5% of people meditate. And I think that's really a good way to quiet yourself down. Just really be still and quiet. And then it gives you strength to face the day. So yeah, I would really recommend it. There's a meditation thing, and it's called the Brian Weiss, WEISS, for Manulifers who want to do good meditation. It's for health, and it's really been helping me, I think, stay healthy.
Well, for Julia, who's also now a Fitspo, people are asking, who is your Fitspo?
You know what? With or without Dr. Bello in this call, I would have to say it's her.
Oh, I love you, Julia.
Really, it's pretty amazing. I remember entering her house and she was just in this robe, and I couldn't help but take a photo and be like, oh my gosh, I want to be exactly like her when I grow up.
Thank you for not saying grow old. No.
Okay, next question is for Dr. Ed. Dr. Ed, as parents, how to deal with children distressed because of online school. I know it's such a new format that kids are having a hard time. Even our teachers are having a hard time because they're at home. Sabi mo nga, the boundaries, there are no more boundaries. The place that consider as rest, it's back to work or school, and of course the lack of social interaction. So how will parents deal with that?
First and foremost, it's very important to have a differentiation between very young children who may display distress in a different way. So those who are much younger, they would be more clingy, more anxious, more withdrawn possibly. Children usually manifest that they are in distress when they are more irritable or agitated, or those who have gone advanced in terms of the things they're able to control, like bedwetting, they may go back into younger behaviors. So it may be very important to reassure them. Parents need to be the model for kids. As Vicky was mentioning, we look into like when there's a crisis inside a plane, we try to look into the eyes of the stewardesses to reassure us. And it's very important as parents that we reassure our kids. Now, the older kids, luckily, are actually digital natives. So they have their gadgets with them all day. Actually, even when sleeping, it's right beside them, no? So very important. What parents can do is to make sure that you involve them in decision making, how they would want to restructure their day. Very important, as I mentioned earlier. How are you feeling about this? What are the main things that causes problems, especially with online schooling and all that. We could also help them. This was already highlighted by Vicky, etc. when she highlighted how we can solve problems, also by Rose. You teach them how to see, for example, a negative thing such as what's going on right now in a more positive way. In fact, these present as opportunities right now. Okay, opportunities to look into what are the things that I could learn over the course of this work from home or online schooling situation. But if everything else fails, for example, they have had previous or pre-existing mental health problems, it may be important to also involve their respective physicians in being able to carve out what might be the next best thing to do.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Ed. Now, Ms. Rose, during your time sa Makati Medical, what was the percentage of people using, health insurance, or against those that rely mostly with a common means of financial assistance, like, health cards or government benefits?
Okay, 40%, only 40% for HMOs. Then, of course, you have the 10% of PhilHealth, that makes it 50. HMOs and corporates would be 40 because they're one and the same, right? It's substitutional. And the rest, really, 50% are personal payments. That's why I'm a strong advocate of saving, a strong advocate of buying additional insurance as you get ahead in your career. As you get older, you get promoted. Instead of thinking of buying a new phone, why don't you add to your insurance healthcare benefit? Because you never know when it's gonna come, when it's gonna hit you, and you don't want to be in a panic when you have no choices left for you anymore.
And yeah, Julia, let me ask you, we were talking about it earlier about the unfortunate, part and parcel of what we do in the industry. Now, once, for example, that you're getting, a lot of negativity online, does your family play a factor, or do they let you be?
Oh, that's the biggest factor for me. I think that's the most important support you could get. And at the end of the day, I feel like when you have your family as your core support, I think you'll be fine.
Okay, tama naman, tama. Family will always be there to lift you up. Now, Ms. Rose, we have a question. We have someone wants to ask about chemotherapy. If it's still the best treatment for cancer.
No, there are three types, depending on your cancer. For example, breast cancer. If it's operable, they'll do surgery. Sometimes they'll put chemotherapy first, right, Vicky? Because they want to shrink the tumors. And then after that, they'll do radiation therapy. So it's not either or. It's all of the above. Because that's just the nature of the enemy, right? It's so treacherous, and I speak from personal experience. My daughter, who never smoked, led such a healthy lifestyle, has good genes because we have no cancer in our family, passed away from lung cancer at the age of 39, just a few months ago, 7 months ago. And it was inexplicable because everything that we say we should be doing, she was doing. She exercised, she wasn't overweight, slept well, but you never know. Because I think cancer nowadays is also environmental, right? It's not environmental and all the things that we put in our food, all the additives. So it's a combination of, if anyone knew what causes cancer, then he'd be a billionaire, right? Unfortunately, it's still an unknown.
Yes. Doc Vicky, you wanted to ask a question.
Yes, I had a question because Rose just said that she brought her daughter to Sloan Kettering. And I was wondering, because I hear a lot about immunotherapy, and that from my understanding, Rose, it's like if you have a bacterial infection and you do culture and sensitivity, you put the microbe there and you put the antibiotics around, that will work best. Is it true that they can do this for cancer as well? That there are 89 different kinds of breast cancer, for example. So there are different medicines that could actually attack that, but they just give you one chemo that will kill, carpet bombing everybody, and it's just a question of whether the person dies or the cancer dies, depends on your strength. But that they could actually nowadays be more specific, but because of Big Pharma, it's a $20 billion industry, they don't want to go there first. I mean, I just hear this, so I think maybe you have more experience because you went to school.
No, chemotherapy now is very targeted. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's not a shotgun approach anymore. They actually do DNA testing to figure out whether your DNA is compatible with the chemotherapy they're recommending to you. But immunotherapy is still in the developmental stages. I was trying to get my daughter into an immunotherapy clinical trial, but it was only stage 1. So they said between the stage 1 and the targeted chemo, Dr. Dillon of Sloan Kettering was recommending doing the targeted first, and then when chemotherapy is on the second or third stage. Unfortunately, after I had done that, coincidentally, somebody from Israel got in touch with me via internet asking me if I wanted to do some consulting because they want to penetrate the Philippine market. And they are very high on immunotherapy, but I was just a few months late. But no, Vicky, they have targeted. They will check your DNA. You have to go, Sloan Kettering gives you a test bloody expensive. It costs $3,000, but they will map out your entire DNA.
Is that
And
the
then they
same in
will.
the Philippines already, Rose? Is it
That one is in the Philippines. For example, if you have lung cancer, the first thing they'll do is test if you're EFKG positive or EFR positive or negative. They're beginning to do it, but they don't have the same variety of options as you would, let's say, in the US or in Europe. But we're not far behind. Many of the doctors were already talking the same thing.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rose. Sir Ed, my question for you is, ito maganda tong tanong na to. How do you stay mentally healthy while caring for someone who has mental issues at the same time? It's sometimes difficult having to be strong when all you want to do is give up.
Very, very important question, because I know that a lot of us are caring not just for even, mentally ill or physically ill individuals at this point. Very important is we're going back to what I mentioned earlier, and that is self-care. It is okay actually to make sure that you are a-okay. You are not doing any disservice by taking care of yourself. It's important to take breaks, for example. If there are several of you in the family, it's important to delegate, for example, and have your care for yourself time as well. You will only be good for your loved one if you are whole as an individual, biologically, psychologically, and socially as well. Our paradigm constantly is going to be biopsychosocial. Even that individual that you are helping wouldn't be whole as a person if those who are caring for them aren't actually whole as themselves. So very important is self-care before we could actually care. Even for us doctors, I think all of us, Rose having taken care of somebody who had cancer and passed on, all of us need to start with making sure we are in the best of care, physically, mentally, and socially.
Okay, thank you, Doc. Last two questions. Doc Vicky, this is for you. Now, a few industries are now more aware to be inclusive in the fashion industry. We see plus models joining the club of regular lean models. So how do you encourage women to appreciate their bodies, but at the same time offer liposuction?
Well, of course, we only exist really for people like me. So the reason I put up Bello Medical Group is because I was so insecure because I had really bad skin and I was fat. And when I see people, I couldn't look at them in the face because I thought they were looking at my bad skin. So I actually applaud people who are very self-confident, who are comfortable with what they are. By the way, Luis, there's a change now in beauty standards. For example, when I started, it was a lot of people wanted to be very thin. Now they like to be a little malaman. It used to be breasts were the thing, now it's butts. So when people say I'm very comfortable, I go, good for you. I wish I were like you, but I'm not. So for people who, sometimes if you just have one thing, I always say a millimeter scar on the face is a kilometer scar in the heart. And if you've been bullied like I was when I was young for being ugly or fat or whatever, and that's why I was adopted because I was so pangit, it really leaves a big mark. And I feel that it's improved my life so much that I'm more confident now. I can talk on a Zoom with 3,000 people watching because I'm no longer thinking, are they looking at how ugly my skin is? But I always do encourage, especially from the beginning with the color of our skin. I'm so happy to say that there are many, siguro before when I started practice, 80% would ask to be whiter. That was always the thing. Now 50% are very happy being morena. All they want is even skin tone, not different colors, but just one brown thing. So I see that's a really positive thing.
Last one for Julia. What's your skincare routine?
Ooh, Dr. Arabella would know.
But when you get home, buddy,
If you're
Sorry?
it's a must, diba? Na when you're done with taping, you wash your face right away. What are your musts talaga, the non-negotiables?
Okay, well, What are my non-negotiables? Well, I have these wipes. It's called the antibacterial wipes that are from Pond's. That's my first step, really. Like, that's how I clean my skin. And then I'll go in with a cleanser that's very gentle because I have sensitive skin. And then pads that are full of salicylic acid and glycolic acid to reduce acne and then renewal of my skin. And then I would go in with my sunscreen because it's very important.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Now, before we leave, do we have any final words for our viewers? We're starting with you, Miss Rose.
Oh no, I was gonna say something to Vicky. Vicky, do you still keep a stash of your chocolates in your clinic? I love going to visit Vicky because she had the nicest chocolates. Are you still indulging in that?
I think we may have a problem with Doc Vicky's
She
connection.
can't hear me. Okay,
Yeah.
my parting words is, health matters, as you say. Health costs. Don't for 1 minute think it's free. You gotta be prepared, and you gotta be discerning in your choice of doctors. Not all doctors are created equal. So you have to do your own research because at the end of the day, your destiny lies in your hands.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Miss Rose. Doc Ed? Doc Ed, I think you're on mute.
There we go. Sorry. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, in this pandemic, what has happened is we lost a lot of our controls, and the objective is to rein in control so that we could, and that is by being more resilient, being more open to the different challenges, and see it in a way, we call it reframe it in such a way that we see the challenges as in fact opportunities where we could actually emerge from this even better than we were pre-pandemic. So hopefully stay resilient, all of us.
Thank you very much. Doc Vicky?
Well, I'm going to quote Scarlett. She just did something for Mega Magazine. And she said that we should all be kinder to each other, more loving, and help one another. And I think that would really help us to be outward centered a bit rather than, oh my God, this is so bad. So just, you can control your mind. So make it a positive and joyful mind.
Thank you very much. Julia?
Well, just many thanks, Manulife. Thank you for having me. And thank you to everybody who joined us for our webinar. Looking forward to the next one.
Maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga speakers natin. That was very insightful and helpful. Now, before we wrap up today's webinar, it's time to announce the winners of Netgate Philippines Telemedicine Vouchers. Flash on our screen right now. We have our 10 lucky winners. Congratulations. A Manulife representative will contact you on how to claim your prize. We'd like to thank everyone who joined us this afternoon for taking time and actively participating in our program. Watch out for more wellness webinars in the future. Now be sure to like and follow Manulife Philippines social media pages for the latest updates. Now we would like to hear your feedback on this afternoon's webinar. Simply scan the QR code on screen and answer our 2-minute survey. Thank you very much sa inyong lahat. As always, it has been a pleasure hosting for you, Manulife. I am Luis Manzano, and I leave you with this. Almost everyone can agree that COVID-19 pandemic has upturned lives. What you can do is prepare yourself to return to your normal routine and think of ways to be better equipped for whatever health issue might occur. Though you might not be able to tell when and what the next crisis may be, it is always best to be prepared by planning for the future. Sa inyong lahat, maraming salamat and stay safe.